It's a beautiful day in Voyageurs National Park. I am doing the 150-minute, so 2.5 hour grand tour.
Making our way along this trail, all of us will come over and see for yourself the largest of the excavation pits from this era of gold mining in the 1890s. As we talked about, the 1890s was a period of great uncertainty for many young people across the country, and many people across the U.S. were drawn out to try their hand at gold mining through flyers, through posters. Of course, we live in the 21st century where we can make it up from Duluth in a quick 2.5 hours, but if you were traveling out from Duluth back in the 1890s, it would have taken you 4 days or so to get out here to Rainy Lake. And of course, the folks who made the journey to try their hand at gold mining had never been out here. This was a new environment for so many of the people who were the miners out in these parts. And as you can see here, you can imagine at a scale of industry that occurred right here at this site. This is where that next pit took place. You can see this. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Look for the differences of what you can see out here. Looks like a completely different landscape. And of course, how much of it has changed in the last 100 years. Of course, the geology of this place determines so much of everything else about how people have lived and what life is like out here. These rocks are some of the oldest you can find in the United States. They're certainly the oldest that I've ever seen. But how old are these rocks? You might ask. Good question. For context, we know the dinosaurs died out a really long time ago. Dinosaurs went extinct about 66 million years ago. The rocks we see out here are 40 times older than that. So about 2.6 to 2.7 billion years is the age of almost all the rocks you can find in what's now the park. And looking off to the east, through that long channel, long straight channel is not only where we're going to be traveling through the rest of the tour, it's also an ancient fault line, or as geologists would call it, an ancient subduction zone. Basically, if you put your two hands together, palms facing down, and you push your two thumbs together, one hand slides on top of the other hand and one hand slides below, and that's just a subduction zone. That's what was happening here 2.5 billion years ago. That's what happening around the planet here today. And it's also what created so much of the material that people would come out here for to try their hand at gold and silver mining. If you were here 2.5 billion years ago, you'd have seen these gigantic mountains and gigantic volcanoes off to the north of us. And of course, all we see today are the hearts, the very bottoms of those ancient volcanoes and mountains. And that's what holds the gold and silver that people came out here for. And so, like I said, we'll all get a chance to look off into this ancient fault line, take your pictures. Like I said, we're making good time, and we'll continue back this way as we appreciate this landscape and get back on the boat. I think it lumbered in front of across the road in front of us. Yeah. You're looking at crossing the road, yeah.
I have.
And what crossed the road 2 days ago?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right now, so.
Oh, I thought that
So don't jump up and down as activists.
I think when they need things about
Importance of following
Germany.
the same cabin that Harry once did. See the linoleum flooring that he once put down. Reflect on the experience of a person that I never met, but I'm sure relate to. I'm sure all of you can relate to.
Check out my sweet campsite in Wooden Frog State Forest, and site number 38. And I get a partial view of Lake Kabetogama. Definitely a hard name to pronounce. Kabetogama. Kabetogama. Anyway, I'm visiting Voyageurs National Park and picked this as a place to stop because you can't stay in the national park unless you have a boat, because all their campsites are boat to campsites. I have a great view from this campsite, though. I don't think I could do better than this. Pretty rocky shoreline. All right, I'm gonna go visit one of the 3 visitor centers. I was at one yesterday, so the next one is close by to where I'm at now with the campground, and that's the Kabetogama Lake Visitor Center for Voyageurs National Park. Yesterday I was at the Rainy Lake Visitor Center, and today I'm at the Kabetogama Lake Visitor Center, and that's where I'm camping, is Wooden Frog. These same signs were at the other visitor center. Definitely tell this place is a boater's paradise. Aluminum hull boats are popular here. There's the visitor center straight ahead. Howdy, do y'all have videos?
Our machine isn't working right now. My husband's trying to.